Hello, everybody. Today is Thursday, October 16th, 2025, and we are back for another episode of Bricks and Beyond, a creator showcase series. For those of you that may be joining for the very first time, Bricks and Beyond is a showcase series that highlights members of the LEGO community. Each episode will give you a personalized look into the person behind the LEGO account. Today's guest is joining me from just a measly 10,000 miles away, all the way over in Melbourne, Australia. He is an AFOL, a Reels comedian, and a wonderful member of the LEGO community. On Instagram, you will see him as the Short News, but I am here to introduce him simply as Sean. And there he is. Sean, how are you?
Hi, I'm well, thanks. And yourself?
Oh, living the dream. So I would say you're probably living the dream more so because it is actually Friday where you are.
That's right. It is Friday, and I am in the future, and it looks good. Good stuff awaits you in the future. It's Friday at the end of the week for you very soon.
That's one of my favorite things about talking to people over in Australia is that you're in the future. So I always have to ask lottery numbers. What's the winning lotto numbers for tonight? So I can, I'll trust me, I won't forget you when I win. So
No, of course. When I have them, I will share them. Promise.
That's fair. So how's your week been so far?
It has been okay. It's been a little bit mucky with work. You know how it is sometimes.
Okay. Yep.
And a few little shifts with some personal stuff in the background, but it's been good. Every week's good. It's always manic. We've got the little kids running around, and they make mayhem every day, every minute, which I wouldn't have it any other way. So it has been a good week. Every week is a good week.
Yeah. Well, hey, we're alive. So that's a start. So now that completely random off the wall question here. I have a little, my son, he's 8 now, but Bluey was a big household name here not too long ago. So remind me, is Bluey down your way, or is that a different part of Australia?
Bluey is actually based in Queensland.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah, up north, top of the country.
Okay. Yep. All right. Now, is there an actual place that do you know like that was based on, or is that an all like imaginative? I don't know if there's maybe a house that they based it off of or something.
I think there is one actually, and you can sort of hop around to see it. There is a Bluey World or something like that, which is based in Brisbane. So that's more or less where it is from. Yeah.
Okay.
So it is loosely based on the creator from Brisbane. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? We're gonna kick off here just with a couple Australia things because some of the rumors that I hear about where you live. Now, I know there's different parts, so there could be some of these might not directly reflect you. Couple random things here. So number one, I hear you have spiders the size of dogs. Is that near you, or is that somewhere else?
Depends on how small the dog is, to be honest. So that may actually be true, and I would say, generally speaking, those spiders would exist in the slightly warmer climates. So again, up north. I'm divulging some private information here, which could be used against me and is used against me by some people. I am immensely arachnophobic. Like, you talk about a phobia. I'm not just scared of spiders. I am sort of paralyzed by their existence and the fact that I cohabitate with these things.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So I have contemplated moving to icy cold temperatures to escape spiders from time to
time. So in other words, you're not walking around going to try to find the dog-sized spiders in Australia.
No, I was traumatized by a very large spider, probably the size of my hand, which was living inside my mailbox. And I went to collect the mail, and that's one of those like sort of urban nightmares where you're doing the really vanilla. I'm collecting the mail from the post box, and just as I put my hand in the mailbox to collect the thing, it jumped out, and that happened 2 to 3 years ago, and I am still traumatized by it. Lifting that mailbox every day or whatever it is, I can barely do it. So yes, but yeah.
Is that what caused the arachnophobia?
Oh, no. Okay. No. I've been arachnophobic since as long as I can remember, and events like that don't help.
So I'm just thinking into the Lego realm of things. So obviously we have the oh gosh, is it the face sucker from Alien that people were making from that one Lego set? Now, that translated into spider-esque form for you, or can you deal with something that looks like that?
I can kind of deal with it, but once it starts looking a little bit too real and too close to home, I mean, I can distinguish it's not the real deal, but it sort of still sits in me and does cause me some. Yeah.
Well, so now I'm confused here because when I was looking at your Instagram page, and for anybody re-watching this or re-listening, make sure you go over to Instagram, follow Sean. It's The Short News, TheShortnews. When you look on your page, if I'm not mistaken, one of the pinned posts you have at the top is a giant spider. So what's the backstory with that?
I thought it was too good to resist talking about it. I thought it was good as a build, as a Lego person. I appreciated what they had done. It was incredible, but I won't lie, it was mildly difficult to look at. And there are some poses that spider was in the photos. I went, that's a little bit too close to home. One of the scenes that I picked up on was the spider on the floor.
Yeah.
And I thought that's exactly what it looks like. That's terrifying. So it was hard. And look, to be honest, as much as I'm paralyzed by it, it's not my only phobia, and I'm trying to overcome these things. I don't want to be a victim to the things that haunt me up. This is going to be weird because I'm doing it now. And this is the second thing that I have a phobia of my own voice and seeing myself in recorded medium. Absolutely. I have always battled with it. It's one of the main reasons I didn't do video and reels and things before. To be honest, before I took my 7-year break, video and reels and stuff on Instagram wasn't really a big thing. It was very still. It was still photos, right, and carousels and things like that. Reels came in while I was away, and thankfully, because I wouldn't have survived then. Believe it or not, I haven't even watched my wedding video. I can't watch myself in. I can't. I don't know what it is. And even doing what I do now, making the reels that I've been doing and listening. And the thing about, as you know, doing reels and videos and whatnot, is you've got to listen to yourself because you've got to edit the footage. So yeah, you have to listen to yourself. You can't edit yourself in a vacuum without listening to what your voice is. And I have really battled with that, and I'm getting better at it, but I still do not like listening to myself, and it is hard, and watching myself is even worse. So there are two phobias I'm addressing today. And
that makes me feel even more honored to have you on here because, obviously, when you do stuff on the internet, it lives there forever. So
that's all right.
So I appreciate that. So, and we now know your phobias.
That's right. You've got my weaknesses.
Oh, that's good. So, what's on the agenda for you this weekend? Anything exciting?
I would like to do a couple of videos, as is the thing with us. I have a couple of builds. I have a backlog, which is crushing my room at the moment. I collect more than I am able to build, not because I'm not one of those Lego hoarders. I don't build to amass a huge collection to sell one day. I started before my first born, and as it turns out, I've probably been collecting for him without even knowing it, and now my second. But yeah, so I would like to build. I have the Game Boy that is sitting here that, coming from that era. I'm looking forward to putting that together. Time with the fam, and I've got a brother's birthday as well. So I'll be
nice.
I've got a younger brother.
Yeah, I think you mentioned about collecting. I think we don't sometimes realize the size of the sets. And then when you do build them, it's like, oh man, where am I going to put this? And so now, like, when there's something I want to buy, like, I'm actually looking at the measurements. I'm just like, well, where's that going to go? Because I really want this, but it's probably going to sit in the box because I don't have a place to put it, So
yeah,
I get that. Yeah, I get that completely. But
agree.
Well, we'll get into that in a little bit. Before we get into the Lego chat, I want to dive a little bit more into who you are as a person. We'll stay away from the phobias. We already know what they are. We don't need to dig into those anymore. But just give people an opportunity to get to know you better on a more personal level. So, as I mentioned, so you are down actually, this is the first time I can say you're down, because you actually are down in Melbourne. So I'm in Pittsburgh, and like I was looking at the math, and I saw it's a little bit over 10,000 miles away, air miles, to get there. So I would assume that's a pretty hefty flight. But as far as you living there now, were you born and raised there?
Born and raised in Melbourne. Yep.
Okay. All right. Now, obviously, still living there. Have you ever been out of Australia, or have you always lived within Australia?
Lived here all my life, except for about a year or so in my teens, where I
Okay.
lived in all of the states that we could have lived in the US. We lived in Delaware.
Delaware. Oh man, you picked a good one. Can I ask? Is there
Corporation.
is there a? Oh, okay, okay. So it was for a job.
My dad, my
Yeah.
dad was
Okay.
a doctor, had a surgical thing there, and
Oh,
that's where
interesting.
I took him. Yeah, yeah. So we lived there for about a year or so, and they got homesick and came back.
A surgical thing in Delaware of all places.
Yes. Look, it
Man.
allowed us to travel to more. Look, no disrespect to Delaware. It was very
No,
kind to
no,
us.
no.
School was
Yeah.
great that I went to was very different to the school that I was going to here, and all the schools that I've been to since. Very different education systems. But yeah, it allowed us to travel to more exciting places. We did
Yeah.
visit Philly a lot. We did
Okay.
visit New York a lot in sort of that little time, and
Okay.
then did a bit of touring on the way in and out. So
Okay. Now, what would you recall? I know, again, going back to teen years,
yep.
what would be some of your like memories? Like, do you have any specific memories that you remember? Wow, either in Delaware or traveling within the states?
In Delaware, in the school that I was in, I found that compared to the school that I was in before, they treated us a lot older than
Okay.
I recall being treated here. It
Okay.
was my first impression, sort of given a lot more independence, and it's sort of like,
Interesting.
I don't know, it was never a grade change or anything like that, but just felt like we were older in the school, even though I was the same age in the same year and all the rest of it. And I thought that was really cool. I thought the kids were really welcoming.
Okay, that's
I
nice.
I do recall, and he was funny. He was a funny kid. I had to learn history, obviously, so I had next to zero history knowledge. And I was sitting in class, and the teacher was going around doing a recap on history, right, for the
Okay.
first class, and sort of, what do you guys remember? Let's talk about this. Let's do a refresh on last year, sort of thing. And the aim of the game was to say, after you've answered the question, you nominate someone else. Now, these kids had
Okay.
already worked out that I was Aussie, and we chatted before in other classes, and this kid had nominated me to go next to answer a question. And so he points at me and goes, "What's the blah?" And then I went, "I got to be honest, dude. I have no idea." And then he heard my accent, and
Oh,
the teacher just cracked up laughing, going, "That
yeah.
was brutal. You've known that he had no chance of answering that question, but you've thrown to him anyway." So
That's funny.
yeah, but I've been around in many states in US. We lived there for a while. We did a good Eastern
Okay.
board travel on the way out, finished up in Florida, and then went out to Cali and then came back home.
Oh, wow.
I've
Okay.
traveled there a couple of times since. We went part of our honeymoon there,
Okay.
revisited some of my favorite states. I really love the South.
Yeah, me too. Yep.
I don't know, it's just really homey and sort of
It
just
is.
like a little bit more casual
Yeah.
than the northern states. I mean, I love the northern states for different reasons, but I just felt more at ease.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I love that homely style food. I love being in New Orleans and,
Yep.
having that sort of welcoming into our homes sort of vibe of the eateries there and the places and the people. And I've sat down with people there who are complete strangers eating food. And
Oh, sure.
I,
Yeah.
I really like that. So,
Yeah.
looking to get back again at some point.
Yeah. So I live in Pittsburgh up here in Pennsylvania, and
Yep.
so in Pennsylvania or in Pittsburgh, I will give credit where credit's due. No matter where you go, like especially in the South, there are always people from Pittsburgh, and so like it always feels like home away from home. However, when Pittsburgh people are in Pittsburgh, it is a very like we are a very fast pace up here in the north. Like it's fast
Yep.
paced. Everybody's got a mission.
Yep.
And then I travel to South Carolina for vacation,
Yes.
and it is just slow and calm, and everybody's so nice, and it's just like,
Yep.
and
It
you're
is.
right, it is. It's a homier, like I don't know. It's hard to describe sometimes. It is. It just feels like a homier place down south. Now, again, not knocking anywhere up here, but
No.
you can tell a difference.
Oh, absolutely. And they do it in different ways. Like you go to New York and everything's just lightning quick. No one's got
Yeah.
time to stop on the road, on the path. If you don't move out of the way, you're going to get bowled over by someone at some point. But I've found still a lot of love in those places, just in different ways. We
Yeah.
were in a post office trying to send some stuff back home because we acquired too many things, and we knew we couldn't get it in the luggage, so we were sending back. And one of the ladies who was working there, manic in that post office, right? She cottoned on that we were, Aussie. We had no idea what the system worked, and she just stopped everything. And she was like, "Whoa, okay, we're pulling you in here. I'm giving you the one-on-one, and we're going to do this. And everyone, we're going to bring these Australians to the front of the line. We've got to get them out of here. We've got to help." And I thought that was really sweet, like it was manic, but there was breathing space, and there was still love. It's just different.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's nice. I mean, and it's actually funny you said that about the schools, because I feel like, and again, never to judge any areas or whatnot, but it seems like it's very hard for kids to like move somewhere new and not have a problem. And so for you just to go and, I'm sure you might have, some adjusting, things, but like overall to have the kids be so kind and welcoming, like I'm sure that was beneficial to you to not feel so stressed out,
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess I was lucky because it was a good group. I never really had any issues with anyone at the school, and I guess that can be from school to school dependent, class to class dependent. I've got a bit of good luck. I am a pretty agile person, and I think that's translated to now. We moved around a lot as a kid. I moved in lots of suburbs in Melbourne, so maybe I had that helped. But the school was great, so I really enjoyed the experience and made some good friends there, and it was good, fun times.
Now, do you keep in touch with anybody from the States still?
I didn't. And I really actually regret that. And this might be a prompter to get in touch with some of the people there. I actually had a letter from someone who, my main mate who was there, and I lost it when I got back, and I had no way of getting back in touch with him because I never had his address and never had his details. And so might do it. Now it's very easy to find people nowadays, or a lot easier than what it used to be.
Yeah, well, I say, you know what? All you have to do is you need to do like one of those Facebook things. You go to like all these communities have like their own Facebook pages now. You just have to be like, I was the kid from Australia this year, and within minutes, someone's going to be like, there you go, there's your classmates. I mean, it's just like,
it's crazy.
I think
I'm going to do
how it works.
It's been in my mind for a number of years.
Yeah, I definitely would, because I think that was obviously a different or special part of your life that I mean, again, it wasn't long, but still, I think it would be really neat to just connect with people that you haven't seen in such a long time. And for all maybe one of them, they might even be following you. I don't even know if you've looked through your followers. They could be following you and see what you do. So
that's true.
All right. So in Australia, so where you're living now, if somebody was coming to visit you, do you have any like particular or special places that are must see or must go to places?
Look, it depends on who it is. I think Melbourne is good for a few things. We have self-declared ourselves as the coffee capital of the world.
Okay. So you're in competition with Seattle, because Seattle up here says the same thing.
There you go. And I am a coffee. Like I have like sort of three obsessions. Lego, one of them. Obviously, coffee is one of the other ones.
Okay.
And if it was that sort of person, I would take them on sort of a coffee tour. And there are many places here I would take them for coffee. We have really good food here. We're a very multicultural society. So, there is strong Vietnamese sections of the community, strong African sections, Latin American sections, obviously European. And I would take them for coffee. But if they wanted to see art, we have that. We have laneways in the CBD, which are dedicated to graffiti.
Nice.
So, I would do that. But, if we were to do a little bit of driving, we have the Great Ocean Road, which is only a couple of hours away, which is some really nice coastline. Victoria probably suffers relative to some of the other states in that it doesn't have some of the wow factor for tourists. I'll be honest. I love my state. I think it's the best one. I think Melbourne's the best of the cities. I'll just say that. I've been to more or less most of the other ones. I think Melbourne's the best. But, up in Sydney, they have the Sydney Harbour Bridge. They have the Opera House. They're very notable things that you take people to, right? It's on the water. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. I think we're better, but I think it's a beautiful site.
That's fair.
Upper Queensland, you have the Great Barrier Reef, which is gorgeous. They have the Daintree Rainforest. You've got more of the theme park vibes up there. It's much warmer than it is down here. And again, probably a little bit more easygoing. So we don't have those wow factor things, but I think it's a really pretty state. So,
Sure.
you know, we do have rainforest sort of vibes here as well. If you go inside a little bit more and that beautiful coastline on the Great Ocean Road. So that's probably where I would take people.
Okay. Now I know, do you know King Katie's?
I'm aware. Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Cause, she always has posts, of food.
Right.
And like, I see some of the food things that she posts and I'm just like, I don't know how anybody is skinny in Australia because it's, it looks
Yes.
amazing. So the food looks amazing.
We are very lucky to have so many people who have come here over the last, 50 years in particular, 60, 70 years, who have brought with them traditions of, their own food. And, now we have second and third and fourth generations of those people. And they're just so deeply entrenched. We are very rich with our cuisine.
Yeah. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you are preparing to go into summer, correct? Right now?
It is, yeah. We're in the second month of spring, which in Melbourne is traditionally slow to get that uptick in good weather. Only now in the last week, so midway through the second month, have we started to get some warmer weather.
Okay.
Yeah, being a slightly cooler climate compared to the rest. But yes, we are heading towards summer.
Okay. Yeah, that was always the other thing that really confused me was the time and then the climate difference. So because obviously we're going in the winter now, so it's starting to get cool, and then you guys are heating up. So
yes.
Okay. Now, so personal life here. Any siblings?
I have one younger brother and one younger sister.
All right. And then what's so obviously you're the oldest. So then who's next in line, brother or sister?
Sister's the middle child.
Okay.
And brother's the youngest. Yeah.
All right. So
6 years separate each of us.
Oh, okay. All right. So that had to have been an interesting dynamic then for you to have the sister and then the brother comes along. Now, what growing up, first of all, did you get along with your sister? And second of all, when your brother came along, did you feel like you got along better with him, or was there still like, I don't want to say tension, but was there?
Look, I would say no more than any normal family. I always say, we've got 2 kids. I've got 2 kids, and I say to them every day, you will be best friends. I don't care what happens. You two will be best friends. And that's true, but that doesn't mean they're not human beings. And human beings, no matter, even if genetically linked, it never matters. And they are wildly different. They are from the same 2 people. They are wildly different, complete ends of the spectrum in terms of already at 2 and nearly 3 and 6.5. We already know opposite ends, right?
Okay.
So they may struggle to always find a middle ground, I think, but that doesn't mean they can't be good with each other. And the same goes with me and my siblings. The difference being that we had much different, larger age differences. So me and my sister were 6 years, a little bit closer in the sense that, we not quite common interest. You're never really going to be doing the same things as a 6 to 7-year-old with a baby. And then when you're 12 or 13, they're 6. You're never really going to find the same. But having said that, we were very close, and I think we were very good with each other. When my brother came along, 12 to 13 years for me, same thing. You're going to struggle to find commonalities. So that I, took more of a slightly younger guardian role in some sense, that I was entrusted to look after him more. I changed a lot of his nappies, which I rub in a lot. I did that for him when I was that age. And but we're close, and us 3, I think we all get along, and we save the drama for other people. Life's too short there's enough of it. I try very much to focus on our small family and making sure that we don't involve ourselves in drama, and just focus on the good stuff, which is where we're at. So it's all good. They're great.
When family's supposed to be the ones that you can always count on no matter what. And there's way too much out in the outside world that goes on that, it's nice to have a family that you can fall back on. Now, do your brother and sister, do they live in Australia still, or are they other places?
We're all here, all live in Melbourne, within sort of 45, 50 minutes of each other.
Oh, nice. Okay. So then you guys do all the holidays and all that kind of stuff. That's nice.
Yep.
Okay. Good. All right. So we're going to pretend we're living in a realm right now where Lego does not exist. Okay.
Yeah.
This is always one of I know it's the most horrible thing to say. It's awful, but we got to go through it. So,
all right.
So as a kid, what would you say were some of your interests or hobbies that you really enjoyed when you were younger?
I was talking about this with my wife yesterday. We were talking about how we are,
Mhm.
millennials.
Yeah.
We exist, and no joke, probably 15 hours ago, we were having this chat. And in that time, we grew up in a time just before technology sort of
Yeah.
boomed, right?
Uh-huh.
We didn't have the phones to call friends. We clearly didn't have social media. And when you want, I still don't remember how we caught up with our friends. I don't know how I
No.
coordinated.
No.
I don't know. I don't remember how I did it, but I did it because I was always with them.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of time outside. My parents were big believers in me not sitting near the TV or anything like that.
Sure.
I did have a Nintendo, and I loved my NES back at that time, and
Oh
I
yeah.
had the Super Nintendo as well. So definitely a lot of time and a lot of love for that. I loved being outside. I remember my youth, was hanging out with my friends, riding the bike, riding to I don't know where, right, and then riding back.
Yep.
When it was getting dark and time for dinner. Yeah, so I think I'd say that's where I spent a lot of my time. If we exclude Lego and things, which I did have, that's where I was.
Okay. Now, this was one of the other Australia questions I forgot to ask. Are you in a section where the kangaroos just freely roam around? That's not your part. Okay.
No, but it's not far. It's actually not
Okay.
that far. If you drive sort of like 45, 50 minutes an hour maybe out of here, you will find areas where they're sort of just hopping around. Yeah.
Interesting.
And
See,
and
I
you know
can.
this because you're driving and there will be the signs saying kangaroos
Oh yeah. Okay.
crossing, and they will typically cross at the road. So you've got to be really careful because if you hit a kangaroo, not only is that very bad, we
Yeah.
don't want to. They're lovely creatures, but
Yeah.
they are big, and
Oh, okay.
they will do some damage to you and your car if you hit them. So it's a two-way on that one.
It's my mind just can't wrap around a kangaroo. Like we have deer here. Like that's what we
Yeah,
have. We have deer. Um, and like growing up around that, like to me, it's just like a deer just seems like a common thing. Like it's just a four-leg creature. It's like a dog, it just walks by. To see a kangaroo hopping around, my mind just can't. I just
yeah,
can't like grasp
yeah,
that. It just seems so interesting to me. So,
yeah. They're cool. Yeah,
um, yeah, that would be really cool to see. I've been a couple of places, actually in Tennessee this past, or no, 2 summers ago. We went to see the life size Noah's Ark, down in the state of Tennessee, and they had
yeah,
like a petting zoo and all that, and they had kangaroos down there, and to see them in person, like it's strange, like we don't really have anything like that in the States that, like, stands, first of
yeah,
all, and just, like, hops around, So,
yeah, yeah.
it's really neat to see.
Yeah, we take it for granted. It's kind of standard here because you
Yeah.
grow up with them
Yeah.
in the sense that
Yeah.
that's always your reality. But I can understand that they are very strange looking creatures, and just to see one hopping around, yeah, it would be weird.
Nah, completely. I see. I'm known for my tangents, just so you know. So I
I love a
completely,
tangent. I love them. I love
completely go
tangents.
off the wall here, but I'm just
Sure.
gonna I'm just gonna bring it up because this is a popular thing here in the States. Do you guys have the Bigfoot sightings? Is Bigfoot a popular myth down in Australia? No. Okay.
No, no, we don't.
Okay.
I did enjoy those sorts of things when I was over there. I did enjoy that there was more of a Bigfoot vibe and definitely more of a trend towards those weird sightings and things, but
Yeah.
none of that here.
Do you guys have any of those type of myths or stories down there?
Probably the closest thing that we have to sightings and whether or not you believe or not in terms of a myth would be, UFO sightings and things like that.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
And I
apparently,
categorically believe so they're real. So,
I was just say apparently over the past summer, here's the thing about the UFO stuff. Okay.
yeah,
I feel like there's something
yeah,
that is there. But here's the thing. If we're seeing them regularly, why are we
yeah.
all using a 1995 flip phone to record the footage? Like, where's the iPhone 16s and 7? Why aren't we recording in 4K?
I
So
couldn't agree more. I've got the new iPhone 17 and it's got like a million zoom on it,
yeah,
and I'm like, if they had one of those things on it, I would be more. Yeah, I agree with you. I believe there has to be other life, whether or not those sightings and those grainy, flip
yeah,
phone videos are authentic. I don't know. I have my
yeah,
suspicions.
yeah. See, and that's the thing. I mean, and really, with anything like that nowadays, if you don't have, well, and AI is the scary thing now too. I mean, it really
Correct.
is because
Yeah.
like you legitimately can have an AI video of a person doing something that didn't. And I that's going to cause a lot of problems for a
Yeah.
lot of people. But besides that, like anything that you're trying to get proof of, you got to have 4K proof. We're in a 4K society right now. So don't be
Yeah.
getting out the flip phone and recording, grandma running down the road in a Bigfoot costume. Like you got to do better than that.
Okay, yeah, I agree, and I agree with you on the AI thing. This is something I dedicate my mind to sometimes because I love tangents and I think of lots of things. But I think we're going to have serious authenticity issues.
Oh yeah.
Not only now, I don't worry actually about. I mean, I worry, but I don't worry as much for now as I do for 20 years from now. When
Oh
people
gosh.
look back, and
Yeah.
I don't know how they're actually going to tell apart what was and what wasn't AI,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
what was and wasn't authentic. That's my
Yeah.
biggest concern. I don't know how
Yeah.
we'll tell them.
I'm with you on that. I mean, some of the stuff you see now, I mean, it really is like, you see these celebrity videos where people are like, "Oh, Hugh Jackman was at my birthday party," and he, you see him dance. I'm just like, that really looks like Hugh Jackman at his birthday party dance. But then you see like a finger sticking out of his side or something. I'm just, that's AI. So that's
And that's the thing, and people, will teach you and say, "Oh, there's always a way to tell." You'll see that the mug
yeah,
has a bit of a blur on the right. And I'm like, well, first of all, that's the people who look hard enough to tell that, and most
yeah,
people don't.
no,
Second of all, that's AI now. Wait till
oh yeah,
AI gets better in like 30 minutes, and
yeah,
there is no longer a blur on that
yeah.
mug. What then?
The one thing I do question though, because I feel like that's the way things should go. The one
Yeah,
thing that I do kind of have a hard time 100% saying that that's how things are going to go is special effects.
yeah,
The special effects in movies, granted not long ago, but like 2000s, early
mm,
2000s, some of the things were amazing. And now some of
yeah.
the special effects we see, I'm just like, come on, man. Like that almost looks like Godzilla hanging from a string and you can see the strings. Like, what are we doing here? What happened? So
I agree. They're going backwards because they're utilizing technology that's not quite there yet. It was better
yeah.
before, but it took longer and it cost more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, and so, like, I get the whole cost thing too, like, this stuff's expensive and all that, but, I don't know, I still to this day, like, I always say this with, like, cell phone technology, how, like, I can't even drive somewhere and have full service the whole way there. Like, the Jetsons told us we were supposed to be in these sky rises with flying cars and teleporting by 2025, yet we're going backwards. I mean, some stuff in life, we're going backwards, so
That's right. That's right. We were lied to.
yeah, yeah, seriously, but it is what it is, right? So,
That's right.
all right. So, you said you have 2 kids. Um,
Yes.
boy, girl, boy, boy, girl, girl,
2 boys.
2 boys.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, 3,
All right. And
almost 3
then,
and 6. Yeah.
okay. All right. So, and you said you are married as well.
Yep.
So the missus, how does she feel about having 3 guys in the house?
Yeah, so she's coming along with the boy mum stuff.
Okay.
So it is manic. There's a lot of boy energy. Our youngest in particular is, I hate gender cliches and stereotypes, but he is a boy,
Yeah.
boy,
Yeah.
and he's a
Yeah.
lot. He's on top of, we knew what we were getting with him at like 12 months when he was
Okay.
already on the couch diving off things. And whereas our other one is a quieter, more introspective type. He's the puzzle king. He loves puzzles, loves
Okay.
Lego because of the puzzles. He's
Nice.
got a
Yeah.
very puzzle mindset. I would say his extreme sport will be like extreme puzzle, extreme Lego. So the difference
Nice.
again between the two is wild. But
Yeah.
yes, she does from time to time, goes, "Oh, there's a lot here," and I'm like, "You think there's a lot now? Fast forward this 5, 6, 7, 8 years, then come."
Yeah.
But she's great. Yeah, she's good. She's a very mixes really well with boys anyway. She's sort
Yeah.
of
Okay.
not afraid to get in and under with the kids and get her hands dirty and muck around
Sure.
with them. So it works well with her.
Oh, that's good. Good. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, well, obviously, and yeah, it's still a long way away, but a few years away, then, mom can step in, when the girls start being, a special part of their lives and, motherly advice. And this is how you should treat your mother. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember all that advice. So,
Yes, that's right.
so again, let's just ignore Lego for a moment. What do you guys enjoy doing as a family, like during on the weekends or whenever you have some time to spend together?
Uh Look, we like the kids. The kids will tend to dictate what we do on the weekends
Okay.
because sometimes there is a thing that we just can't escape. So if we've got a kid's birthday party or friend's birthday party or something from their class, then that's what we're doing.
Okay.
But if we don't have anything, which is kind of rare because otherwise we've got our weekends booked with our usual things. They've got swimming classes on the weekend. Other sports, occasionally we did have my eldest in soccer for a little while.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We're not doing it this term, but that sort of stuff. And so that already blocks out certain times when there's not a pre-arranged thing. We'll duck out and we'll ask them what they want to do. So if they want to go to like a play center and we want to roll the dice at one of those joints, that's what we do.
Yeah.
I will go to the zoo. Went to the zoo a couple of weeks ago, and now with the warmer weather, we can start heading out for some slightly longer drives, and if they want to go like a dinosaur theme park sort of thing, they can do that. Nice. So it's what the kids want typically.
Yeah. Okay. All right. 2 more tangents here, just by things you said. So my mind's always thinking. Yeah. Okay. So another Bluey reference here. Is Pass the Parcel really a game you guys play at birthday parties?
100%. Yes.
See, I've never got to experience that.
You kind of done all right in that sense. That episode of Bluey is a funny one because it's built around that whole let's make this game a little bit nicer and more inclusive, and everybody wins. Or they try to anyway. But that's the reality. Yeah, and I was thinking back then, how did kids not flip out more about that? You've got 20 kids, and then it goes around, and you're teased for like 15 minutes, and then eventually one kid wins, and no one wins anything else. I'm like, that's actually kind of a tough game.
Yeah.
As a kid to regulate, as a 5 or 6-year-old or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, the concept of it, I mean, to really take up time, I mean, it's brilliant. I mean, that really keeps the kids engaged for however long that takes. So, I mean, that's a chunk of time, you don't have to occupy because they're going to occupy themselves. So,
that's right.
All right. And then the other thing you said, so you actually, and I know this is a London thing, so or a UK thing, so I didn't know if it did pertain to you, but you actually called it soccer. So you guys do refer to soccer as soccer, or do some people call it football?
Some people call it football. I am conflicted. I actually don't like calling it soccer, and I only say soccer because I feel it helps other people know what I'm talking about. And that reason is that true football is soccer, right?
Yeah.
Because you use your feet, right? But football here, especially for Victorians, refers to AFL football.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
They use their hands as well as their feet. And so if I say football or footy here, everyone's going to think I'm talking about that when I'm not. Okay. So I reluctantly use the term soccer. But yes, probably for the most part, people refer to it as soccer here for that reason.
Okay. I'm just curious. I have a couple of friends in the UK, and I like to jab, and I'm just like, it's on Sunday. I'm just like, yep, got to watch some football today. And they're like, yeah, you're watching football? I say, yeah, football, the real football.
That's right. Yeah.
Speaking of that, I saw, did you have a New York Jets hat in one of your posts?
I did. I do.
Okay. Yeah. So do you watch the NFL at
all? I'll be honest, the NFL was the one sport I couldn't quite fully get my head around while I was there.
Okay. Yeah.
Same goes for rugby here. I find both the sports far too stop-start for my liking.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I get the strategy.
Yeah.
I get it's more of a tactical game than a running and speed necessarily all the time. If you watch AFL, some people have referred to it as, aerial ping pong because the ball's always sort of flying around in the air, and I kind of get that. But yeah, I couldn't connect with it. So I of all the sports, I actually probably enjoyed baseball kind of the most.
Yeah.
Weirdly. Okay. I went to more games there than I did basketball, but I do watch a bit from time to time. The time zones kill me more than anything because everything's on at like 3 a.m. and I'm too lazy to get up at that time. I'm too sleepy to get up at that time. And I have a thing about watching sport after it's happened. I always feel that universally I can help impact the outcome, either whether I'm in person or from my couch in cheering, right? And if it's already happened, then I can't do that. There's no way I can impact the result. So I tend not to. So it's a hard sport for me to watch. But having said that, yes, I do have a lot of hats and beanies and caps. And, I'm wearing a Boston hat at the moment. The reason for that, I sort of adopted Boston subtly as my baseball team.
Okay.
And the reason, even though I lived in Delaware, the reason being that they kind of reminded me of my AFL team at home.
Okay.
Boston had a really crappy record for many, many years. They were a really crap team, right? Like my team, right? And then they sort of achieved success after like 100 years or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Like my team. So
Yeah.
I sort of picked them up and I went, well, we've got similar tangents. So you are my baseball team now. And,
That's fair. Okay.
and the Jets are sort of a struggling team as well, historically,
Oof.
somewhat.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're
so
struggling this year. So yeah.
I feel sorry for those teams. So I sort of take under my wing the struggling teams. Basketball's a different one. I actually enjoy watching it, and I tried for a couple of years to pick a team.
Okay.
So I actually have several NBA hats. And like most people, I tend to follow players more than teams.
Yeah.
And that's the reason is every time I found during one of my paternity leaves, I went, I'm going to pick an NBA team. I'm going to pick one. I'm going to watch all the games and I'm going to pick one. And I didn't land on a team. And the reason why I didn't, and I struggle to since, is over a couple of years, they keep swapping teams. Every time you like a team, there's a player in it, they ship them off. And I'm like, that's the reason I was watching the team.
Yeah.
You know, if I liked Giddy, you know, the Aussie back when he was, you know, playing for the Pels or whatever, and you know, I've got a Bulls now, a cap because of him. You know, like I like the Bulls because Giddy's playing. I like him. He's an Aussie, so I gave up on the whole team thing, and now I have a whole bunch of caps. But
yeah, no, I mean, and I mean, the NFL really, I don't feel like they don't really move players as much anymore because the contracts are. I mean, well, I don't know. I guess all the contracts are massive, but it feels like the NFL doesn't really move players. NBA feels like they do move more often than anybody else. MLB probably as much, not as much, but close. But it's really hard. Like even when you're buying like a jersey, like I think the NFL actually has a thing now where if you buy a jersey and they're traded within a year, like you can get like refund or credit to get another jersey or something. And when you're doing that, I mean, that just tells you how bad it is. I mean, because
that's true, and that's a good program. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to complain. I mean, I used to buy a lot more jerseys, but now I don't because I'm just afraid of like, well, they're going to ship them off anyways. So, I don't know, but all right. So before we get into true Lego talk, just want to bring one other thing up because it's something newer that you had mentioned to me, and I didn't put two and two together, but you actually published your own book in 2018. So that's called The Short News. I believe you do have a copy next to you, right? Do you mind just showing that to everybody? Okay, so what's the story? What's the story behind the book? How did it all come together?
So this was when. So I'll talk about the short news in a sec, but this was when the short news was a really big part for me. Like I was, you know, pumping out a few posts a day back when images were the main source of truth in Instagram. You know, that the short news was a project that I was really passionate about. I always wanted to bring news to people who didn't like the news, in particular kids as well, to help them embrace the fact that they could learn about their world. And, you know, the idea was always to wrap the news in something. And that something was Lego, right? The image. So that's the packaging. Inside's the information. I always thought if I can empower people with a bit of knowledge, that's great for them. You know, I had a lot of connections back then. A lot of people it was a very strong community. I'd post the thing and people would get involved and talk about the story. And, you know, they would love it when a story happened in their part of the world, you know, and I would tag some people sometimes saying, hey, this is what happened in Minnesota. How crazy is this? Have you got any info on the ground as to actually what's happened here? And they would share something that they might know that I didn't and that the news reports didn't talk about. So that was really cool. I had, I was in the news a fair bit. I was in the news a fair bit for that, you know, for a year or two. A publisher reached out in New York, of all places, and that's who published the book. So that was a lot of work went into that, a lot more work than I thought.
Sure.
Painstakingly creating all those images. I'm not savvy or good enough to create things in Photoshop. I'm not a Photoshop guy. So if anyone ever thinks that I've Photoshopped something, I haven't. I just don't know how to. And I can't be tough learning. I never get that stuff. That's not the way my brain is wired. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I'm not. I want to, and I'd love to. I'll be like, oh man, I could create things so fast. No, I'm not that. I'm not AI. I'm none of those things because I love authenticity. We talked about that. But so we did that. Took like from time of announcement that I would be published to the book being done, was like 12 to 18 months. It was a really long process.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was really good. I was excited about doing it. To be honest, it kind of burnt me out really badly, which is what started my 7-year break from Lego material content and social media in many ways.
Yeah. Understand that. All right, so we'll get into that a little bit more in a second here, but let's go back again, back to childhood. But now we can bring Lego into the mix here. So, so you said you did have Lego as a kid. Now, do you remember? Did you have any specific sets, or was it more of just like a bulk brick that you got to play around with?
I don't remember any actual sets, and it kind of works in my favor because I'd be pretty disappointed if there were sets that might be, really notable or valuable now. But we had lots of bulk bricks, and my parents effectively gave them away when we moved to Delaware. We had a big garage sale, and whatever cents, pennies they got on that wasn't worth it. But it was all they were all effectively given away, so I don't have any of that Lego anymore.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, I love asking that question because I've gotten stories of people had them in a storage unit and either they were stolen or there was a flood or then I had the positive ones where mom and dad neatly packed away everything by color, by part, and put it in a sealed suitcase with a lock on it. And they're when the kid or the adult comes back, they're like, "Did you keep my Lego?" And they're like, "Yeah, here you go." I'm just like, "Come on, man, like that's just that's just unreal." So,
I have come back to my mum now on this a few times. She also gave away my NES at that time, and kind of I still struggle to forgive for that one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're now that you're a dad, you can see we make mistakes.
I do, and I accept, and I understand why. But now I have a Lego NES, so it's kind of okay.
Well, that's fair. I mean, that it might not be as interactive, but it's just as good. So
I had Duck Hunt on that. I still have fond memories of Duck Hunt.
Oh yeah, that's. I mean, that stuff. I haven't even looked at prices because I used to play that too. I mean, do you even know like what's that go for nowadays?
I'm scared to look. I know it's a lot. I don't want to look. No.
Yeah. And it's hard because if you have this lovely Lego hobby that we have, buying that would take away from the Lego fund. So it's kind of like, it's tough to know what to do in that case. So
you got to choose one crippling addiction, I think.
You do. Yeah, you do. All right. So as far as your personal collection that you have, so obviously I see behind you, you have some modulars. What would you say, what are your main, well, first of all, do you have a favorite set that you own? And then do you have a white whale set that you would love to have?
I don't know. Look, I'm going to give an unfortunately boring answer. I don't think there's any set that I love the most. And the reason for it is I reconnected with Lego effectively for this project in a way, for the short news. So this is back in, I'm going to say 2015.
Okay.
And the reason for it was actually accidental. So the whole point of the short news, as I said, was to use an image, toys in some cases, to visualize the news for people, right? And provide very, very short captions so that people could digest it quickly in an entertaining manner, always something positive, never negative, never anything political, really, none of that. And I never started with Lego from the beginning. It was other sort of things that I was buying, sort of miniatures from miniature sets and stuff like that, whatever I could get my hands on. And then I accidentally got a hold of, not accidentally, but I just sort of bought a couple of minifigs at the time. And to represent some people. And I was like, well, if I've got the minifigs now, I can see that there's a much larger world with Lego now than what there used to be when I was little. I probably should buy into these things. And so I started getting, sort of a little diorama sort of sets, vignettes and things, sort of the corner, and once I got into those, I started getting into some bigger ones, and then, well, lo and behold, the world of modulars, right? And so if I had to pick my favorite set, I couldn't pick between modulars, but they are my favorite of the creator experts and modulars. They're my favorite, and the reason they're my favorite is because they facilitated what I was trying to do. I take apart my modulars. I'm a terrible Lego builder independently. If you ask me to build anything by myself without instructions, it's not going to happen. I wish it could. I'm not wired that way. I can follow an instruction like that, no question. But once you take the guide away, all that knowledge that I've acquired over the years just evaporates. So I need the modulars, and so I collect modulars. But up until I can't remember what the first one probably was, but maybe the one before the pet shop, maybe the cinema.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's my favorite. They're my favorite sets for that reason, because I love those little worlds. I think they provide play possibilities and sort of role play, and I know that because my 6-year-old now loves asking me to pull those ones down.
Oh,
and
nice.
Sit and reenact moments from there. And my white whale set, if I had one, I still heavily regret not buying the original, the Ecto one Wally. And probably the Ghostbusters HQ is probably my biggest one. And the Simpsons, the original Simpsons house. I snoozed on them at the time. I don't know why. I think I just assumed I would get it later. And then later never came. And then now they're at those prices, and I'm like, I don't.
Well, so I'm not trying to make you feel bad or anything here, but I did see the Ghostbusters HQ on your page.
Yeah.
And I had to share a story with you because it's currently ongoing right now. Craziest thing ever. So I started collecting in 23. And it all started with my son in the Home Alone house. And then it got into the modulars. And that was the main goal. Like, we were going to build a city and all this. Well, he's 8 now, and his friends do Roblox and Minecraft. And so, like, I'm lucky if I get him down the build. So it's my collection now. So I started going after the modulars. I need the very first one to finish, and then I'm done with that. So I'm excited about that. But with the Ghostbusters, so I just recently watched Ghostbusters for the first time, and people, I'm gonna get mauled over this, but I liked the movie, but I didn't get like sucked in. Like, there's Ghostbusters people that like that's it, like that's the bread and butter of movies, yada yada.
Yeah.
However, the HQ is a gorgeous Lego set to me. I mean, it really is. And so I started thinking, I would like to have that. My buddy has it, and he has it lit up, and it looks amazing. He actually put a finished back wall on his, so it's completely modular. Nice. But I said, okay, well, I'm going to look into this. Well, obviously I looked at the price of it, and it's absolutely outrageous. So a couple weeks ago, I was looking on Facebook Marketplace, and I see this shop that was a pet food store going out of business. Okay. And they're getting rid of all these Lego sets. And I see a Ghostbusters Firehouse with an Ecto 1, with the smaller Ecto 1. And $450. I can't remember what that translates over into Australian or whatever the money form you guys use, but it was $450 American. And for those two sets together, that is, that's like a steal.
That's
so
great.
I messaged the lady, and she was like, yep, still available. This is the address. Come pick them up. Well, I didn't realize it was actually in New Jersey. So that would have been like a 6+ hour drive for me.
Yeah.
So then I said, wait a second. I have my buddy Frank. I don't know if you've ever seen him, Accio Bricks, here over on Instagram. Yeah. So Frank is in New Jersey, and he always reaches out, and he knows like things I'm looking for. And I said, hey, Frank, I said, how far are you from this city? And he goes, I'm actually going there tomorrow for this convention. I'm just like, are you serious right now? And he was like, yeah. I said, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to go to this pet shop and pick something up for me. He's like, why am I going to a pet shop? I said, well, because they have Lego. So,
yeah.
So he goes, okay, just give me the address. Tell me what I need to do. So then I'm thinking, all right, well, I'm not driving out to get it, and it's probably going to be pretty expensive to ship. So how am I going to get this thing home? Yeah. Well, then I remember my buddy Josh. He's also on Instagram. He goes by Touring Bricks. I said, hey, Josh, I know you're about to come home, because he tours with like bands and all that, and he does like the carpentry for the sets and whatnot. And I said, I know you're ready to come back, and I'm pretty sure you're on your East Coast tour right now. I said, where are you? He goes, well, I'm in New York, but I'm going to be staying in New Jersey. I was just like, this is just lining up here. So Frank went over. I sent him the money. He picked up the set. He gave it to Josh. Josh shoved it in his suitcase, put it on the airplane, and brought it home to me. So I have it sitting in a bag over there. He had to, take it like mostly apart. Well, I'm on Facebook Marketplace the other day, and I'm scrolling through, and what do you know? I see a Ghostbusters Firehouse. Now, it's open, but she has the box. All the bags are sealed. The instruction manual's there. The stickers are pristine, and she wanted $650. Now I'm like, okay, that's still decent, but it's a little bit more than I would like to pay. Well, then today she drops it down to $580. And I'm just like, I was like, man, what are the chances in the matter of 3 weeks I've come across 2 firehouses? So now I'm debating on, because that one's sealed and this is the era of the brittle brown. Now I'm debating if I want to just get that and then just build the other one and sell that one for what I paid. So I have to make a decision on that. But I said, in all these years, I haven't come across one firehouse. And now in the matter of weeks, I've come across 2. Just like, what are the chances of that?
So, yeah, okay. You've piqued my interest. I might have to start wandering down Facebook Marketplace. Maybe the universe is sending me a message to this chat.
All I'm going to tell you is, as I'm sure you're probably already aware, people think they have gold with Lego. Like, Lego is gold to most people. You have a little $2 Lego set, and we're selling it for $200. It's just like, buddy, like, relax, like, slow down here. I'll buy it for 12, but that's it, not 200. But you can find some really good deals. So I would definitely push you towards that if you're looking for something, because I've got lucky on a couple things. So so there you go. So now you have 2 tasks that you've gotten out of this live tonight. The first task is to reach out to your old friends. And the second is go on Facebook Marketplace. So see, I just the value added.
They're both great things. Yeah. It's not even homework, because they're great things. Connecting with good people and buying white whale Lego sets at good prices.
So please keep me posted on that too, though, because I'd be really interested to see, like, if you are able to find some friends, and if you do find anything on Marketplace. All right. So back to your collection. So modulars are the favorite. Now, as far as building goes, do you have any line of theme that you, other than the modulars, that you tend to gravitate towards? And then are there any that you really can't stand to build?
Yeah, they're easy to answer. I like Speed Champions.
Okay.
I've collected them all mostly since they've all come out, and they're really good, and they hold their value really good. So if they don't sell them, they're fairly good. But I don't know. I like more like, behind me, I've got things like the what's a vending machine? What's that called?
Do they actually call it a vending machine?
Is it the mini pig vending machine? I think it's a vending machine.
Close enough. I know what you mean.
Stuff like that. Like, I like stuff like that. Like, I'll usually gravitate towards the adult creator sort of,
like the ideas, that kind of stuff.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I thankfully am not a Star Wars guy. And that means, I know, and it's good for me, because the addiction is already crippling enough. I don't need to add Star Wars to that, because the Star Wars stuff is nuts. And thankfully, when you got things coming out like Death Slices and things like that, I don't need to make the call as to whether or not I want it. I personally think it's a pretty cool looking set. I like the diorama vibe of it all. I wouldn't in a million years spend $1,500, which is what it equates to here. But I mean, if one landed on my doorstep, right? I think it would be pretty cool, and I would check it out, and my son might very well get involved, even though he has next to no knowledge of what Star Wars is, and probably maybe too young.
Okay.
So yeah, that's probably the theme that I stay away from. I don't think I own any Star Wars thing at all in here.
Okay.
So they're the things that I like getting to, more substantial sort of build things. But I mean, look, saying that, I mean, looking around now, what I have here, I mean, I've got Bowser here that I haven't built that I want to build. I've got the Fortnite Mech Team Leader, which I want to build.
That one looks really cool.
That is awesome. It's been sitting there for a little bit. I'm in the middle of building one of the train sets. I've got the new Wally set. A couple of mini castles, a minion set.
Okay. Now, do you do Technic? No. Okay.
I don't hate it. I don't dislike it. I don't know. It's weird to me, and does my head in a little bit, and so I try to avoid.
Well,
but some of the new stuff looks cool.
You will, yeah. I mean, the stuff looks cool, but putting it together, like I'm doing the Nissan Skyline right now from Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yep.
and I just can't get myself to finish it. I'm just like, man, I've had enough. Like, I'm done. Yeah. I think I have 3 bags left, and I mean, it's gonna look gorgeous when it's done, but I mean, it's sometimes they're hard to power through.
I'm with you. Yeah.
So pick your brain here. Did you guys have Power Rangers when you were younger in Australia?
Yes, I watched a fair
Okay.
bit of it. Yeah.
Okay. So in my mind, I love Power Rangers. If you can make that Fortnite mech, you can make the Power Rangers Megazords. I mean,
I
no
think so
doubt
too.
in my mind. I mean,
Yeah.
if that's a test to see what kind of market they can get with a Zord, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm all in. Give me that power. I want the Dragon Zord. Give me the Dragon Flute. Like, I want all that stuff. So, and I know a lot of people that do. So,
Agree. I would think that'd be pretty cool, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was a thing at some point. Yeah.
I mean, really, anything 90s to me is just like, it doesn't matter when you were born. It's like iconic stuff. I mean, I don't know. The 90s had so many good shows and movies. That I just don't, I'm surprised more hasn't been capitalized on at this point.
Yeah.
I feel like we're trending that way, especially like with the video games. Like, I'm actually really excited about the video games. Like, I'm hoping we're starting to get more of the system builds.
Yes.
But hey, Paul, yeah, Paul said, yeah, something about with the IPs. Yeah, so IP, I don't know how that goes with, because I think that's actually a part of Mattel, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if Power Rangers is a Mattel property still, but obviously, Pokemon's coming out. Things change all the time. So I really can't imagine that. To me, Lego's a type of company where if they want something, eventually they're going to get it. Just how long will it take to get it? So,
well, they're moving in that trajectory. They know where they know where the money is. Lego.
Yeah.
I mean, they know that their
Oh,
base. They're marketed with all the black boxes and all the 18 pluses.
Yeah.
They know that these are the people who grew up with Lego, and now they have disposable income. And what better way to tap into that than to tap into their childhood? So, into the Game Boy, the thing there. This is where it's at.
The one of the things that got me from the death, or as we like to joke at my Lego store, we call it the life slice. What really got me is, so we are like one of the bigger volume stores here in the US, and they had, over that opening few days, we had 27 Death Stars, and every single one of them sold. That's $27,000 in 27 sets. I mean, that blows me away. I mean, that's more than somebody makes, like some people can make in possibly in a year on a salary. I mean, that's a lot of money on 27 sets. So
that's right.
It definitely shows you that the money's there. And are people, to each their own. I'm not going to judge. You do what you want. It's your money. I'll support you if you buy it. I'll support you if you don't. Whatever. Right. As long as it's not hurting my wallet, that's all that matters. So,
yeah.
All right. So then, so obviously you do have your sets behind you. Do you ever find yourself buying something day one and going home and immediately building it, or are you just, with life, stuff just tends to kind of pile up?
It just piles up.
Yeah.
I don't know the last set that I built day one when it came in the mail, or I walked home with it. As much as I've wanted to, it's just the minutes just aren't there in a day. The kids require all my minutes, and I love that. Like, I love being a dad.
Oh yeah.
I love my kid. It's the best. Like, I in a way, I'd wish I'd done it sooner, because you look at them and I sort of just go, I don't know how I lived before you. This is so perfect, and so the way I wanted it and believed it and never knew it. So they're all with them. So thankfully, my eldest loves building Lego, so he builds a lot with me. But having said that, when I say he builds with me, he builds, and he won't really let me touch any of the pieces. He's an exceptional builder. He builds way above his age range. Always has. So if I try to get in there, and I made a reel about it a little while ago, and it was the truth. It was him smacking my hand away when I'm trying to get into the pieces. That's absolutely him. Okay. So, but no, to answer your question, as much as I want to, I don't know the last time I came home with a box, emptied it out, and been like, I'm going to build this all tonight. I should. It's the dream.
I will forewarn you about I think they do. I think that is a vending machine. Somebody correct us if we're wrong. The minifigure is that what they call it, a vending machine? Regardless, though, that does have a decent amount of Technic in it. I was surprised, and that's what's funny. There are a lot of Lego sets that aren't marketed as Technic, but they actually do have a decent amount of Technic built into them in some capacity. It's just not an overall Technic set. So, I think after this Skyline. I think I'm done with the Technic per se, because I just like, if you mess up one piece on a Technic and you don't catch it, you're done.
Yeah.
I mean, you're done. So so now, so you said, so your older son is involved now. So I have a Lego club that I run at my son's school, and then I have one at the church too. Do you guys tend to have, like, is Lego, I guess I'm just like not too familiar with how Lego is in Australia. Is Lego big enough over there where there are things like different either Lego events or Lego clubs or anything like that?
Lego's huge here. Melbourne in particular seems to be sort of the Lego capital of Australia. There are a lot of creators here.
Okay.
You mentioned one of them, and there are a whole bunch of them here. I don't know why it's so concentrated. I made a couple of really good friends through this, that, people that I see in 3D real world, still to this day, that I met, a decade ago when I started the project. So yeah, there are heaps. There are lots of Lego clubs either being run through stores that sort of, congregate and get people together. There are the lugs like there are in, over there, I'm sure. The conventions here, there are a couple that sort of out in Geelong. There are some based in the CBD, like Brickvention, which come in, every year. There are heaps. There are heaps of people that want to get involved, which is good.
Yeah. And that's one of my favorite things. Like, I always try to come up with different themes like each month for the kids. And I always tell the kids too, it's just like, you don't have to follow the theme. You can do whatever you want. Like, just use your imagination, do whatever you want. But I've had some interesting ones. Like last year we made our own Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. And so each kid built their own float, and then we laid them out like it was a parade. And like some of the stuff that they came up with, because all I have is like, I put shoe boxes filled with Lego on the tables, and then I have a couple massive bins that they can go and just dig through. And I'm like, how do you guys come up with this stuff by just picking pieces out? I'm lucky if I can build like a, one of the little habitats that people make now with that. And you're over here making a stinking Thanksgiving Day parade float, So it's incredible what these kids mind. And your son, I'm sure he's, with the level that he builds at, is just, it can blow you away.
It's crazy because they're hardwired from day one, sort of just, and they just start doing it sort of like, with kids with phones, and 6-year-olds are coding and stuff and doing apps, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? What's up with my life? 6-year-olds are coding. So it's just different ages, different times and things, and it's crazy to see what they can make.
That's the one thing I will say about Lego that I wish that my voice mattered a little bit more. I wish I could talk to somebody directly, but I feel like that is one aspect that they are kind of missing out on right now, is that there does seem to be a lot of focus on sets and instructions. And they do have those classic boxes, or they do have the 3-in-1s, which is a little bit of flexibility, but I'm talking about, like, I want these kids to get just boxes of, and I don't mean the classic boxes that have like 10 bricks and then the rest is like the little studs or that kind of stuff. Like, I want classic boxes with bricks and plates. And I know why they don't, because it would be expensive. But that's where I think kids are really missing out nowadays. Like, if you don't have those Lego clubs or exposures to it, you don't really have the ability to mock build, as we didn't know that's what it would eventually be called when we were little. And so it's really hard for a child to use their imagination when they're just always being told what to build.
True. No, that's a really, really good point. I agree with that. I think the whole open exploration, create your own universe, not what's in the box, not what we showed you, not what we told you. That's a great thing to encourage. I'm lucky that my oldest loves to build, and I have boxes of just extra Lego bricks and things over the years, and he just builds his own thing. So and I like it, and I encourage, and I go, that's fantastic. Don't build any sets. You know, sometimes you'll wander in here and go, oh, what set can I pick from here? And like, there's a whole
Yeah,
bunch of stuff. There's you're not building that now pile. And some of it, yes, it depends on the time. He built a couple of modulars, but you know, from there he'll pick some. But sometimes he just comes in here and grabs out the boxes and things and starts pulling out all the colors and just does his own thing. And I like that.
Yeah, well, I think that's it's so good for them. I mean, their minds, it just like to train their minds to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It really is amazing to see what a young person can come up with. And I mean, that's the future too. Like the Lego designers of today, they're not going to be around forever. So like you need these kids to be able to get to that point where they can continue to make these sets. And how do you do that? By building your own things and learning different techniques and ways to build and everything. So
100% correct. That's exactly the way I feel. The designers now, they use freeform Lego pieces that they built to do things, and now we're being told how to do it, which is fine. But I wonder how that develops the minds of future builders. Great.
Yep. And somebody actually made a really good point to me too, is that building sets and following instructions is not a bad thing either, because when you build from the instructions, you learn how these Lego designers made things and put things in a way of like building something a special way. And so that's how you learn too. You can learn from the best by just following the instructions. So
yes. Yep.
All right. So I know you mentioned there are a few Lego events that roll through town. Did you attend any this year?
I went to the Brickvention, I think, at the start of the year. The Brickvention normally is in January, so that's the next one, and I'm sure the kids will be keen to get to that as well.
Okay,
it's great seeing what people come up with. So,
okay. Now, do they usually have like special events like for the kids to do, like build stations or anything like that?
Yeah. There's build stations that the kids can just sort of sit down and muck around with the spare bricks that are there.
That's nice. So it's you pay money to go in to these places, so it's nice to actually get some value added, not just mindlessly walking around all the time, especially when you have kids. So
you've got these people who demonstrate, as and to say, this is stuff I built, check it out. Don't touch it, but check it out. Looks pretty cool, doesn't it? And that's great, because you go, well, that's what's capable, what's possible. And then you've got the ones who are sort of building and demonstrating, and you're like, that's good, you're teaching, that's the next thing. Then you've got people selling, obviously, and then you've got separate stations where the kids can actually just sit down and muck around and learn and do the right thing.
Well, my hope for you is at this next convention, somebody's selling a Ghostbusters HQ at half off of what they're going for.
Yeah. They just need to offload
sealed.
it.
It's sealed. It's crisp. The box is sealed. The packages are crisp. That's my hope for you. Is that?
Oh, look, for me, that wouldn't even matter too much. As I said, I've only got a couple of sets that I've bought over the years that I probably will never open. And then I'm like, I'll sell it one day. I've got no interest in it. And up it goes, it's stored away. But that one there, I would build. And so the box was dinged up in that, and it wouldn't really bother too much. As long as everything inside.
It saves you money when you don't have. Isn't that so crazy how a box means like
it's nuts?
Because I originally, I don't know about you, but I originally kept all my boxes. And then I said to myself, if I resell this stuff, first of all, if somebody buys it far away, they're not paying for shipping to ship the stinking box. So they want it shipped as cheap as possible. Secondly, if I'm selling it to somebody in person, like the chance of somebody being like, do you actually have the box because I want the box? I mean, it happens, but I just feel like there are a few boxes that I like to keep based off of what they look like. And then the modulars. I kept all my modular boxes. And the ones with really nice box art, I think, are just nice because it reminds me of how sets used to be, not just these, adult boxes.
Yes.
I don't know, but that's a song and dance for another day. So
agree.
All right, and then before I wrap up, so just want to I'm just curious to have a summary overview of like your social media journey. So I always like to look, and I look back at your Instagram. I don't know if this is when you actually started, but I saw you actually started the page in 2014. So when you started, what was your vision for at that time? Like, what was the vision of what your page was going to be, and what were you doing at the beginning?
Well, it was always intended to be that repackaging of the news
Yeah. Okay.
I love the news. I like following what's happening in the world and learning about what's happening in the world, but I appreciate not everyone follows that love. And I always use my wife as a reference point. Every time I would talk about something, she goes, "Oh, I hadn't heard that," and she doesn't really follow and doesn't like it. She tends to hear it from me, and I'm like, "Well, that's probably because the way it's being presented to you is not very entertaining or very interesting." So at that time, this concept of something short and succinct wasn't really a thing, and so I said, "Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to present select stories." Positive things. I'll leave the negative news to the traditional media. They do a good enough job of it anyway. Fear mongering, whatever. It's just going to be fun stuff. I just want to arm people, empower people with just a couple of nuggets of information in their life, whether it be once a day, a few times a week, whatever time they can check the account, just so they feel like they have something. I always feel that people become, proud and empowered and emboldened with information that they can share with their friends, right? That's what it's a social currency. When you have something that you know and you share it with someone else, they then know it and they share it with someone else. And I always love that idea. And I thought, well, if I can reach the people that don't love the news, don't like the news, don't have time for the news, or kids, that's my market. That's who that's what I want to deal with. And so that's why I evolved to make the Lego images, little snapshots. Again, the packaging is the fun stuff, is the Lego. Underneath is a little caption to sort of say, well, that's what that is relates to. There you go. There's your nugget of information. Now you know that that's what's happened in the world, and now we all know. And now you can share it with people who don't know. That was always the vision. It's evolved over time, and the reason it's evolved, I took a 7-year break and I came back and everybody was different. The Instagram was different. The people were different. My followers were different. As I said, many followers have changed their lives and no longer access and don't engage, and a lot changed. And that's why I've also had to evolve. So you'll see on my account now that I don't do just the news. I do it maybe a couple of times a week. I changed the format of it to have a distinct newspaper template so people know it's the news when they see it. But I've sort of had to do a sub brand or an overarching brand in some ways of Brick and Soul, which is effectively my new name now. I know I've got the Instagram handle of The Short News. I can't really change that. I could, but it's problematic because I can't get Brick and Soul. There's subtle variations on that are already existing. But incidentally, not Lego. I'm the only one with that name that's a Lego thing. Brick and Soul exists internationally under bricks and mortar, home construction sort of thing, but there is no Lego reference. So I changed my name or leveraged a different name of Brick and Soul so that I could capture my new broader message. And the message is I no longer just want to do news, because quite frankly, news is a tricky one to do because it's all very time sensitive. If I don't have time in a week to do things, I don't have many things to post, and I don't want to talk about something that happened 8 days ago because it's old. And don't get me wrong, some people might not know it, but it's old. So I've expanded to not only include the news, but hence the name Brick and Soul is meant to make you feel something, ribbing off, heart and soul. And, so there's now reels on life, the comedic aspects of being a Lego addict, as you know. I like to educate still. So I've got segments there where they're build, but I educate through the build in a little, 1 minute sort of package. I won't typically talk about the Lego itself, which is strange. And again, that goes back to the packaging, where I like packaging my information in the Lego. So whilst the Lego is being built and people who love Lego will like watching it, I actually like talking about the thing behind the Lego. So, I had a little build with the Creator 3-in-1 telephone, and I talked about the phone, the actual origin of the mobile phone. That's education to me. So my DNA hasn't changed. It was always education or information or stories wrapped in Lego. Lego is my delivery vehicle. Still is, but it's broader. It's news, it's stories, it's education, it's laughs. It's all in one now, but all using the same thing.
So I'm just tossing this out there. You don't have. I never expect anybody to take any advice I have. But I got a fun little pitch here for you, because we talked about it not a little bit ago here. I think every once in a while you should really dig into that mysterious side of the news and go out there and find like the latest Bigfoot story or UFO story and run in it, because there's Lego that deals with those topics too. have fun with it and just see. I think that would be really cool. You know, a fun aspect to like people read those. You know, the what I can't remember the off the top of my head the papers or the magazines that they are, but they're like it's almost like a way to bring comedy and news together, like to make people laugh. Like at first you're like, what? There's Bigfoot sighting, and they're like, ah, come on, man. Like, okay, this is pretty good, you know. So,
I like that. I like advice. I'm always ears. I'm a listener. I'll listen to anything anybody ever tells me because I hate dismissing anything, and you learn from one another. I think that's really good. So thank you for that. That's a good nugget.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't expect you to run with it, but I just, it's something in my mind that would be, kind of cool to just bring it all together and just kind of fun with it. Sometimes what I've learned too is that there are a lot of people in the world, and you never know who's going to watch your content. And there are a lot of people that are probably having a miserable day and just coming across something that you're like, oh man, another, it's just something depressing. They're like, wait a second, Bigfoot. Well, what's going on here with Bigfoot? Yeah, there's somebody saw it, and it's like, okay. Yeah. So I don't know, just something I always like to, my mind always thinks of stuff. So
yeah, it's a bit absurd and out there. I like it. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. So please don't obviously don't feel obligated to do anything with that. But if you do, I will thoroughly enjoy reading that. So
thank you.
All right. Before we wrap up, is there anything else that you would like to share? Anybody you'd like to shout out? Anything to that extent?
Look, honestly, my shout outs internally go to my family. My wife enables my Lego addiction. So she is super supportive of it, and, we recently converted this room used to be my youngest room. No, my eldest room. And then they wanted to sleep in the same room.
So wow. Buddies,
okay. Right. Okay. So they wanted to merge into the same room, and that's what they are. And that's how this room, otherwise it was not possible. That's partly why I couldn't do what I did, because I didn't have any room for it. Right.
Yeah.
So they wanted to sleep in the same room, and I was like, that's actually not kind of fortuitous. I kind of have a spare room now to do something. So always my love and support goes there. But I mean, look, I've had a lot of people over the years that I've connected with, here at on Instagram that have supported me. I mentioned a big Melbourne community, guys like Cheap Jokes and things like that, who I hang out with from time to time and see each other enough. And, we've known each other for a decade now, and we've done sort of, little events and things together, like little brick walks and stuff like that. And guys like that who inspired me to do things bigger. But my thing now is, because I've rejoined the community only sort of earlier this year, 5-6 months ago, I only resumed things like sort of April, May, June. I'm reconnecting with people again. As I said, my follower base has changed a lot, and the people I followed also changed a lot. Okay. A lot of the people I followed, a good chunk of them, when I sort of went through and went, I don't see them anymore. They've changed. Like, they've moved on. They stopped posting 5 years ago. Their lives moved. I'm sort of still finding that community again. So my last message to people here is, I always loved the community of all this. I don't do this. Clearly don't do this for money, because there is none of that. It's the opposite of that. Less money. I always did it to connect as human beings. So for those watching, I love a chat, and I love connecting, and I love reaching other human beings that also love authenticity and having a laugh, and just enjoying things in life that aren't too complicated and aren't leveraged off sad, depressing things, because there's enough of that. I just want positive, happy, moments that are creative and lead to something. And I mentioned in one of my videos that really building for me is all those moments in between all the bricks. That's all it is about, right? When you're breathing, I find building a real cathartic process. And sitting with my child, I almost don't even remember the builds themselves. I just remember the moments building.
Yep.
And that's great. Memories. And they're the best, and they're the things that they'll remember. And, I'm lucky in this environment. I get to work in a hybrid environment, as some do now. I'm lucky enough to have an industry where I can, so I can work from home some days. Okay. I'm home earlier, and I can build at lunch or whatever if he's around. But reach out, say hello. I'm good for a chat. I want to build again and rejoin this wonderful community that I'm slowly getting back into at the moment. So that's where I'm going.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. All right. Well, Sean, again, I know we have that big 16-hour time difference, so I really appreciate you working with me on the schedule there. Very nice to have you. I'm glad I did come across your content earlier this year and was able to get you on here. Love to check in again, maybe sometime early next year, see how things are going with you. But yeah, for anybody who joined in late, make sure this will be posted on YouTube. So make sure you go back and get to rewatch everything. If you are not following Sean, head over to Instagram. You can find him at the handle The Short News. Are you on YouTube or is it just Instagram right now?
I am on YouTube. I do post
Okay.
shorts, and that's under the handle Brick and Soul, though.
Okay, so that's BRICKAND
AND,
and then
yeah.
SOUL. Okay, all right. So you can find Sean over there on YouTube, Brick and Soul, and then The Short News over on Instagram. Sean, I am going to just take you off the screen, wrap things up, and then hang tight because I'll wrap things up with you here in a second.
Great. Thanks for watching.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. We'll talk to you shortly. Okay, everybody. So again, that was Sean from The Short News, Brick and Soul over on YouTube. Make sure you go check him out, give him a follow. Obviously, as you can tell from watching, wonderful person, some great content over as well. So go enjoy that. And as he mentioned, he loves to enjoy chat, enjoy a laugh. So make sure you send them a message, send them some ideas. Maybe you'll see yourself in the news one day. But with that, that is a wrap for tonight. If you enjoyed watching, please don't forget to hit the like button. If you want to subscribe, I wouldn't mind. And don't forget to ring the bell for future upcoming content. With that, thank you for watching, guys. And as always, if we brick together, we click together. See you guys.